record to the cloud.
Thank you.
So we are recording right now. So thank you. I'm going to, so I have a couple of things pulled up. Obviously, I have your site, the Club Express site. And then this is some of you that had been on the demos before when we were talking to the Grand in general. We had a balloon club that is our demo site that is also a sandbox site. Well, we've now, as salespeople, have our own demo site that we don't allow as a sandbox, which actually helps keep it cleaner. So actually before I log in, because I want to see so obviously, and I know some of you were on those demos, when you get a site, you get to dictate who sees what. You'll see that I'm not logged in. So like right now, if I click new member sign up, that means they can sign up. About us, event calendar. The event calendar, you can show things to the public that you want, and you can keep it behind a login or a membership as well. So again, when you're setting your site up, you're deciding all this. So you can
Christy,
decide.
I have one question. Christy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the demo site that I ran looks different than the one you're running. I
Right.
used the link on the Club Express. Was that the wrong one?
No, you are the right one. The reason that you have we have a new one now just for us.
Okay.
As salespeople, because what happens is we have so many people that use the other demo site as a sandbox that we get when we go do a demo, there's things missing.
Yeah. Okay.
It just makes it easier. So you're in the right one. This is just our sales one now.
All right.
So again, you choose who sees what. Again, and so now I'm going to log in, and you'll see the way that this is set up. When I log in as a member, you're now going to see that I have my resource mega menu. These are a lot of modules that are turned on. You're not necessarily going to have all these, but we tried to put as many as we could in here. Member stuff, resources. So these are things that, if you're not a member, you can't see these things. And again, event calendar, you can put things on and now there's a whole lot more showing up because I'm logged in as a member. So that really is your non-member site. All right. And then now we're in member. As far as there's a few things, let me look at your questions that you sent. So the public website, like I said, you can decide what you want people to see. If it's courses, again, you choose who sees it. That's really up to you, and that's done on the control panel. So going to the member website, excuse me, I'm looking through. So yes, officers, let's go back to the public site. Yes, officers can be listed automatically on a web page, and we'll go over that in the control panel. It's just when you're setting up pages, and actually I'll just go ahead and go there. I'm in the control panel. This is for admins, so this would be for board members. I mean, you all should have admin rights of some sort. And since we're back here talking about admin rights, I'm going to talk to you about administrators and coordinators really quick. Administrators have 100% admin rights to the site, 100%. So Dennis, this would be you. You have 100% access. You can then grant coordinator rights to other people, and that is specific duties that they might have. So I can view by function. And here, I mean, I can go and assign people whatever jobs they have on the website, so they don't have 100% access. Again, that is something that the board decides. That's up to y'all what y'all do.
Christy, how do you define the administrator? Who does that?
Originally, when you first set it up, whoever your data protection officer is going to be one of it's just when you sign in that data protection officer is going to be one of the main administrators. And then from there, you can decide, you can assign any tasks for people that are, anybody on the board that logs in.
Can the data protection officer assign more administrators?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so,
you can have as many administrators as you want.
Okay.
You just have to get that initial one in to assign those duties.
Understand.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go back to the control panel because we were, so you were talking, part of it was like the officers being listed on a web page. So when you're in here on your website, you can choose to set up pages in here. So custom pages can be set up. When you set up custom pages, then you can have the pages that you can actually link from a committee. So a committee could be boards. And so then when you create that page, it can automatically link from there and then just pull up your board members on a board page. And the same is going to go for the VIPs as well. So you're just going to designate different groups, basically.
So the board and the VIPs would be committees or categories, or
Yes.
what's the definition?
Yes,
of
they're
that?
going to be committees is what you're going to call them essentially. So if I go to people, here's committees. So here, like this one, it says board of directors. So when I initially click on that and I'm setting up my committees, you have a list of questions to answer for that. So board of directors, do I want a custom page? Yes. Do I want it on a custom page? Do I need it under a subcommittee? So these are just questions that you answer. Is it members only, etc.
Excuse me, Clay, could you mute your microphone, please?
Why?
Clay and Janet.
I wasn't sure someone was trying to ask a question or that was.
No, I think, go ahead and mute them, please. Thank you.
So anyway, you are able to make those pages. And if I'm not looking at the cameras, because I'm looking at your questions, so I am paying attention. So when a member applies, you have committees. We also have what we call interest groups. So committees are going to be what they are. So you would have a VIP committee in here as well. And you would you would be able to put people on that committee. They're going to be members. You can pull them in and say that they are a part of that committee. So VIPs, board of directors, whatever it might be, you can have as many as you want. Let me look. Membership, application checks. The only thing that I have a question about, and this is going to kind of cover a lot of some of the questions, and Dennis, you'll probably be able to answer, all of y'all probably would, is the whole CAM issue with the grant and the API. So because that's going to answer some of these questions that y'all have here. And that's where I need to know, what is it, the steps I saw on your site that when they register, they put their number in, their CAM number. And when you check that, is that being pulled from the grant?
Yeah, it's identical to your website API or whatever. I forget what it's called, but you know how you have an API that can check for your membership in your database?
Correct.
Yeah, we just have an API that can check for resident status in CAM.
Okay. So
So
you're
it's
not,
basically it's an API that you run. What we do is we put in the last name and the CAM number, and
Mhm.
and again, I think you're familiar, but all our residents have
yeah,
what's called it's actually a resident number now, but it's a 7-digit number.
right.
It should be unique, and that's what we use for identification for everything.
Yeah, and I knew you did. And what I was trying to do before we got on this is I cannot see the back end of anybody at the Grand, the other clubs that are using Club Express, because I know that some are pulling in the same thing
I don't
and
know the
using
answer
it
to that.
as their username as well. So that's just one of the, we'll just need.
Christy, I have
Yeah.
a question. My understanding with some of the other clubs was that you all as Club Express give a member of our club a unique number.
Yes.
And that person is the unique number. And that would be how we would review to see if they're a member of Club Express. Each club so far, Dennis, my understanding, has had to go in and add the CAM number as a unique number for each person. On our first rollout, you guys put those in for us, but any new member would have to do that. Is that about what you're hearing, Christy?
Yes. So yes, you're correct, because when you do that initial upload, that is part of your data field, is that CAM number. So
But it wouldn't be in the future, and that's not the one the API for you guys is going to.
What's the CAM number uses what field? I noticed you had an employee ID or
Yeah,
You know,
let me,
your member number is a unique number to Club Express, right?
correct.
Yeah.
But you get to choose like what number you even want to start at. So if, and I know that's unique, so you would have to go change it for everybody because like I can, when I do the setup, I can say start at number 1. And then every time someone joins, we go 1, 2, et cetera. Or if you assign them a number, then it would do the next number available. Obviously with Cam, it sounds like it's just randomly assigned a unique number. So it's not something that can go in order. When you upload, you can definitely put their number in there when you upload. But yeah, going forward, you would have to change that.
That member number, you're talking about that member number right there on the top.
Yes. Yes. So right here, because this is being just decided in the setup process, like what number do you start with? But when you, yeah, and Michael is our database guru. He's the one that does all our databases. He's familiar with obviously the Grand because actually these Stitchers just came on. And then the Glass Arts, they're there. There's several different clubs that are on there. So I know that he's familiar with that. Let me go down. So members must log into member site to register for classes, correct. I know that one of the issues was
Christie?
and the lady remind me it was the instructors, right? And the event calendar.
Hold on, Chrissy,
Yeah.
Denise has a question.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Christie, could we just go through the public and member? I know you're jumping around to try and answer questions, but if you just take a second, I could ask some very specific questions that might just clear things up for us.
Okay. All right. So do you want me to start back at the beginning?
Well, just how about if did you get a copy of the Club Express website question list I made?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Okay, so you've jumped around on that. I would just like to go down it if we can, and I think most of it is pretty straightforward. But just to clarify,
Okay, that's fine.
I'd like to do it. So,
Okay.
if we start, let me just start with the public website because what I like to do is make sure you could produce a website that's similar to ours. We have, and I think we have a public, a member, and then we also have an admin, which is what your control panel is. Okay.
Right.
So we're very similar in structure to what you have, okay?
Right.
So the first thing I'd like to do is just make sure from a public standpoint that we could make the same web pages, from a member standpoint, make the same web pages, and then get into the control panel and how we control the data.
Okay.
Because to me, they're a little different. So some of the problems I've had with other membership programs is they couldn't duplicate the pages. So until we define that, then we don't need to get into the control panel,
Okay. So when you
Okay.
talk about, so can you clarify duplicating pages? Some people, I just want to be on the same page as far as duplicating pages. Do you want it to look exactly like this, or are you just talking about like the calendar? I just
Talking about functionality. Yeah, no, it's not gonna
functionality.
look
Okay.
just like it, but the functionality. So
Okay.
you guys have menus, you have headers, you have a login, you have all that stuff. So
Yes.
you pretty much have all the stuff that we have. I just
Right.
want to make sure the data we present matches. So let me just go through it. And basically I set up my questions based on our menu. So it would be easy to see what's going on and if you look at the Grand Computers Club website. So if you go to calendars, this is the first question, and I think this is pretty easy to do. We have all calendars, activity, online, classroom. These are all categories of events and classes. And
Right.
so what we do is we present calendars that only have certain information on certain web pages.
Right.
And you should be able to do that without a problem, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They are called categories. You're
Okay.
setting those categories when you were doing the setup, you were setting a category for the calendar.
Okay.
And
And that's
again,
just for the categories go across the calendars. They would go across all functionality though, right?
so on the calendars, they essentially do not. When I go to the event calendar, you're going to see, so if it's different categories, they're going to be color coded based on the
Right.
category.
Right.
Here it's going to switch to a list view. So that was one of your questions on, can you do a list? Yes, you can't just specify 30 days. It's either month, week, day, future.
Okay. How far is
Um,
future?
Future is, I am assuming you'd have to go, I mean, it is future.
Oh,
Yep,
okay, it
all the
doesn't have a
way to the
limit.
next year.
Okay,
So that's how somebody's going to see those items if they look at it in a list view. So the buttons are up here at the top.
yeah,
Um,
if you look at our homepage, we have sort of a mini list from Google Calendars.
Correct,
You really can't do that in that structure. You have a format of how to list it, right?
correct. So
Okay.
yeah, it is not going to be in the same format as a Google Calendar, no.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But
Okay.
your calendars themselves, your event calendar sort of looks like a Google Calendar when it's full page.
Correct,
Yeah, just not a list. Okay.
correct. And then as far as the search, because we do not have, like you do up here, on your calendar, I'm assuming it's over here. So it does not go across the top up here like that. What you would do here is that you would search. I can go in and search the items, these would be like your categories basically. And this
Yeah.
is how I would search.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, the search is just different ways of doing it. The question is, can we subdivide it? And your filtering allows you to subdivide it per web page.
correct,
Okay. All
correct.
right. So now if we go to the next menu, which is coffee chat, under activities, we break up our groups. These would be groups, which would groups be considered committees?
Groups actually with coffee chat, there's a couple different ways. I mean, I would do interest groups. The reason you would do interest groups because then you can actually have forums designated just for those groups. You also can, like I said, if you did a calendar, you could even set up events in there that are just for those groups to see if they're
Well, yeah, one of the things we wanted to do is we want to have the calendar. Those are events just for coffee chat. Okay.
right,
And then below it is documents just for coffee chat,
right.
or as we call them presentations. But we like to try not to provide all the information, but only the information available to that group. And you would consider those interest groups then? Interest?
So yes, there's, yes and no. It really depends. And the reason I say it's because it really depends on how you want to set it up. You can set it up as an interest group. That just means that you can have forums designated, you can have emails, whatever, communication. You can also, what you can do is and I am going to go to the control panel for this. You can actually set up what we call chapters, but it wouldn't be a chapter. Let me go to organization. Oh, it's not set up on this one. It may be set up on the demo club that you are in right now. Is this the one that you're using right now?
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at.
Okay. Let me go in. You can set up where they would have essentially their own page. So under organization data, actually, let's look at, I know that some people could use, so you could set up, it would be the computer club, and then underneath you could have coffee chat. And you can actually right click on it. And do y'all have people that head up each one of those groups?
Yes.
So then you would assign them as administrators just to that group.
That's what we'd like to do.
And
Right.
they could have their own page. They could have their own calendar. They could even just look up the people that are a part of that group.
There isn't really people assigned to the group
Okay.
because anybody can come to that group, but there is people that administer the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can set it up to anyone can go to that group. Again, like I said, all of these things can be set up based on who you want to see it, who you don't want to see it. If you want everyone to see it, is it only members? That's up to
Yeah.
you. But if
So
they
if we-
specifically said, I want coffee chat and this is my interest, then you say only people interested in coffee chat can see this, then you can set it up that way too.
Yeah, and we want everybody to see it, but we want the data to be specific for that group rather than for everybody. So as you looked at our website, we'd like the meetings for that group and the documents for that group and the emails for that group to all be controlled by the administrator for that group.
Yes. And that's what they would do.
So that would be, we would use chapters for groups then.
Yes. You would use Chapter Finder as that's what you would use for those. If that's your end result to have just an administrator just for like coffee chat, then I would do that route. I would add the groups.
Okay.
And then you could, that way you could do it. I'm assuming, because do you
Yeah,
have other,
general
what other
meetings-
groups do you have that you would do similar?
Okay, general meetings would be a group.
Okay.
Tech help would be a group.
Okay.
If you go to SIGs, there's 10 different SIGs.
Yep. You would use them too.
They're Apple, Composer, Self devices, although those would all be groups. And then there's groups that don't necessarily show up on our web pages, but are set up for meetings. And so we have a lot of group committees, we call them committees, that we might have a committee, a social committee, a publicity committee, and those have chair people that are the administrators that can set up meetings and things like that. And the other thing is those groups, we would want to take attendance on those meetings also.
Right.
So I'm assuming that someone within that group can, and the way we do it, someone within that group is assigned the ability to check in people.
They are. So I'm going to go to event calendars. And because of who I'm logged in as, and especially like when you go into the sandbox site, Dennis, because when you log in, you're a full administrator, there are things that you're going to see that other people would not be able to see as members. So like this button, when you go into look at an event, only administrators would see this.
Right.
You're not going to see this as a member. So again, just keep that in mind. There's things that administrators would see that no one else would. So as an administrator, you know, I can click on that. And when that event happens, I can run reports. You know, if there's a wait list for a class, I can check the wait list. You can do an automatic wait list. I can check people in. You know, they can RSVP as just a member. I can register for that class here. Again, this is because it's a full administrator. I see where I can add others because I'm an administrator, a full administrator. If I'm just a member, I'm only going to be able to register who you're allowing me to register for.
Christy, can you designate people to check in that are not full administrators, that are just check-in people?
Yes. So what you would do is you're just going to give them what we call coordinator rights.
There would be a coordinator to check in for that module.
Yeah.
Or that group. Okay.
Yeah. Another option is we do have a check-in desk. Now, are you talking, well, I guess if they're checking in, they're going to be technically, you're taking attendance for a meeting. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
Right. There's different
so
ways. We
this
also
is
have
different,
we also have the club check-in, which is more like the check-in disc where people can come into the club during a certain time and we check them in to keep track of how many people come and things like that.
Right. And that's where this check-in desk would come into play for that.
That would be more for what we call monitors.
Yes. So here would be something, do y'all have a designated room? What?
Yes.
Okay. So you could have, you know, if it's a computer, iPad, whatever it is, this is what a member is going to see. So their member number, again, could be their CAM number. They could enter that in search, or they could just do it by their last name.
Yeah, but we want people to be able to check in using a QR reader with their CAM card, which basically automatically enters their resident number.
Yes. That is something I'm going to have to check into because I know that was one of the issues when we were doing the grant as a whole. Everybody was wanting their own like cards. Let me talk to someone about that one on how that would be set up. Because I think the Glass Arts does that.
They do.
Okay. And it may just that there's a way that they just programmed it into the reader anyway, because there would be a barcode Is that what your cards have now as a barcode?
To our bar, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the way it works is all we do is we have a web page that allows you to put in the resident number, but the QR reader just automatically puts it in with a carriage return, so it's sort of,
Right.
yeah, so it's pretty
Okay.
straightforward. Okay.
Yeah, let me find out what's the best practice on that, because I hadn't heard yet. So,
Okay. Okay, so now let me talk a little bit about classes. We differentiate between courses and classes. Courses would be the courses we offer, which has the description and the fee and how long they are and all that kind of stuff. And then the class would be when it's scheduled. So the class would be when you schedule a course. So if you look at course listings, those are all the courses we offer, and we offer them in 3 different groups: PC, Mac, and others.
okay.
And if you look at it, you could see all the red ones are courses that don't have instructors. So we have a lot of courses that don't necessarily have instructors now, but
Right.
we keep them as a structure so that when we offer them, all we have to do is activate them. Okay.
Okay.
So how would we handle courses and classes for education?
That is, and that's where Lee and I had conversed, is that you would have to just schedule it on your calendar. Because we don't have a way, from my understanding, Lee, is that the instructor, so if I wanted to instruct, there's not a way to automatically add it to the calendar when I say I can teach it. But that's what yours does, right?
Well, there's 2 issues. One is how to schedule it. So what you're saying is we have to manually add all the classes to the calendar.
Yes.
Okay. Once they're on the calendar, how does the member see what classes are offered?
They're going to go into the calendar, depending if they're going to look at it in a list view. You also can have pages that say, here's, just very similar to the class you have. You could have these class lists linked to that event.
Okay, if you go to the next one down, the register for classes. The
Oh,
next one
on
in the
here?
menu.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, what that does is that shows the classes, when they are, who's teaching it, how many seats are open, with a register button.
Okay.
So we sort of distinguish between courses, which is more of a general list of everything we teach, and
Mhm.
classes that are available in these different areas. There's PC, other, and so forth. And there's not many now because we're getting to the end of the session. So
Okay.
these are only the ones that are available.
Okay.
So how would you, what we do is we only show people the classes that they could register for under these categories. How would you do that?
I'm listing it just like this. I would have to find out. I know that it does in the calendar events. So you can set up if there's, I'm in the wrong one. Sorry. Need to probably just get out of this one so I don't go back to that one. So if I go to like hot air ballooning, I can, if I decide that I only want, capacity is 10, available slots are 10, like they would have to go in here. As far as setting it up like this to where you are showing the seats before they hit register, or if they don't have to click on anything, I would need to find out how to lay this part out.
Yeah,
As far as
I'm
the
interested
schedule part, you're
yeah,
able, sorry.
yeah, I'm not interested in duplicating exactly what we have, but duplicating the function. So if
Yeah,
we had a calendar, Lee, I think that would be okay to register on a calendar. But you'd have to click on it to see who the teacher was and how many seats were available and all that kind of stuff. It would come up with something like this.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay,
And
so
again, you can
registration.
put your slots. You can also do wait list as well, where it automatically will pull in people from a wait list if somebody else cancels their registration.
Okay. I understand.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, we have some pages. If you go to our website and you go under newsletters, let's say,
Mhm.
we have some pages that have, I would call them categories that only show documents for specific categories.
Mhm.
How would we do that?
So in our control panel, again, you are able to have a document. Let me look for one. So documents, this is how it's gonna look. You can designate, like if I only wanted board members to see, let's just say I want them just to see these, then they are gonna see those. The reason I'm seeing everything is because, again, I am logged in as a full administrator. But this is how your documents are gonna look.
I'm talking about displaying them on the website, not in the control panel.
No, this isn't on the control panel. This
Oh,
is
this is a
actually on the
website. Okay.
site. Yeah.
So you could
So,
define what folders are available. So, okay,
so you on the control panel, you're going to define who sees what as far as documents go. So if it's just for board, then it would be board only, could only see these documents. So then if I'm a member, I log in, I'm not gonna be able to see certain ones. Or if you want meeting minutes or class document, you know, things like that could be on here.
Okay,
You know, we
so-
were talking about chapters earlier, about coffee chat and some of those special interest groups. If
right,
they have their own documents, they also, if they do their own chapter page, they also can include their own documents.
okay,
And the administrator would have, the administrator of that, as I term loosely, chapters or interest groups, pages, they're going to be able to control those documents.
okay. Yeah, so we would have chapters for the newsletters and stuff. We would do it the same way.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Okay, the SIGs themselves, and I think even some of our board members, all of them have forwarded emails that that are basically forwarded on our website. An example is, you know, the membership is membership. Well, you could go to a SIG, but see how the SIG has Apple at grandcomputers.org there?
Yes.
Okay, those are all set up in our admin and then displayed automatically on the page so that they don't have to be programmed on the page.
Okay.
Can that be done?
So this is just technically on this one is you are linking to a certain area on your administrative side, right?
Yeah, this would be the admin for the Apple, what do you call them, chapter?
Yeah, I mean, you can call it whatever. You can call it a club, you can call it a chat. You
Yeah,
get to
whatever. Okay, so this would be the person that that is responsible
in charge of this.
Yeah, that and that would be, and then this would be their calendar and their documents and stuff. So it would be programmed in that new chapter, so that when we made a website for that chapter, it'll bring up exactly who that is and what the routing is.
Yes, so let me, and I know I'm going to some different sites. I like to pull up when we start talking about chapters, clubs. I just like to show you kind of an idea. What, I mean, you can put your own pictures, you can do all of that, but this is
Yeah.
essentially like it would be a club. You could have, you know, the coffee chat could have their, or the Apple SIG could have its own page, its own event chapter, its own committee members.
So Christy, I think the question I'm trying to specify for Dennis, we have president at grandcomputers.org. The person sees that, but it automatically goes to Barb Vivian personal email. So it's that hidden personal email
Oh,
looking for.
yeah, I mean, you're paying for that and it's just.
And how many people can you have on that list? You have, how many board positions do you have within Club Express to be able to, we have 22, I think,
You
here.
can have as many board positions, but we don't host emails. So you're still
Okay.
gonna have to pay for those emails to be hosted.
Okay.
And it can be
Okay, what
redirected
yeah.
to their emails, but we just don't host the email addresses.
So are you going to host grandcomputers.org?
You would keep your domain name and
Right,
you would get an SSL certificate.
right.
And then it's just going to show up as grandcomputerclub.org or com. And it hides the Club Express, but you
Okay,
would
so
still
what
have to pay for your domain.
Yeah, so but what we do is on our web server, we basically control the forward emails that come with the server. You know, president at grandcomputers.org, vice president, Apple at Grand, you know, all those are emails associated with our website, okay,
Right.
with our web server. And we go ahead and manually go ahead and forward those to personal emails. And those personal emails are only controlled by the your master that can put it into the forward emails. And the front end of our website only shows this Apple at grandcomputers.org. And then if someone changes, we would change to a different personal email, but we do that on the web
Right.
server. Okay. Do
Right.
we still do that, or do you do that?
You're still going to have to do that.
So we still have to have a web server.
Yes. Now, who
Okay,
are
so-
y'all going through?
What's that?
Who do you go through?
We use GoDaddy now.
Oh, you use GoDaddy. Okay. Yeah, you're still going to have to do that. I mean, for an organization I'm with, I use Google Workspace, and I still have to do that. Like anytime our board members change, I have to go in there and change the email that it redirects to.
Okay, so the cost for the membership program doesn't include the web server.
It does not. You're just
Okay.
purchasing the SSL certificate.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I still don't understand. We purchase a domain, we purchase the SSL, and then we purchase a web server. So we would
Yes.
still purchase all three of those.
Yes.
Okay. So I was wrong, Lee. I told you the web server was part of Club Express. It's really not.
It's not. No. Basically their thought process is because there's so many, there's so many out there, GoDaddy, all that does it, just as good. So,
Okay,
anyway.
no problem. All right, let me see. Membership application, we don't know. As far as special information on the membership, I think you handle it. We have certain devices and certain volunteer interests, so we make a list of that the members can check off. And then we could search the member database for those things. And I think in your example, I saw that and it was pretty easy to do.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Officers being listed automatically isn't a problem. VIPs shouldn't be a problem. So I think from a public website, that goes through all my questions.
Okay.
So let me see what we got for the member. Obviously you log in. So just some more information on classes. A member can withdraw from a class.
They absolutely can.
Okay.
They also can go into their own account. So at the top, they can actually go and look at their profile, and then they can go in and see like payment credit history, event history, transaction history. So they can go on this end and look at it as well. They can change their interest if you do interest groups. So they have control of all of those things on their end as well.
So
I
how
do
would
have
they,
one
how
question.
would they look at the classes that they've signed up for?
Right here.
So the event history, because
Yeah.
the class is an event.
Yep.
Okay.
One question, can the word event be changed to class?
Good question. I don't know, but I will find out for you.
Because I find that with Glass Arts, it is confusing. An event to me is a party, not a class.
I know. I think, yeah. Let me find out for you. I just don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But when you schedule a meeting, it also is an event, right? Or
That
not?
is correct. Anything that is
So-
scheduled on the calendar right now that we have is called an event.
So if you change it to class, then the meetings are going to be classes.
So what you're going to do is, yeah, that's true. So when you do a and you don't even have to have event calendar, you can just put calendar. Like if you create your own site, you can just put calendar, but then you can come in here when you're creating your different, you can have a meeting, everything's color coded, everything can be specified when you set that part up. But at the
Okay.
top, it doesn't have to say event calendar. Is this the part you're talking about though, is just this when it goes?
Yeah, just
Okay.
because classes and events are sometimes confusing when you have multiple in the club.
Right. Or if you just took out everything and then you just click on calendar and just
Call
not
it calendar. I
events
like
or
that.
classes. Yeah. So, okay.
So can you see the classes that you're registered for,
Hold on.
specifically yourself?
Yes, in your profile, you can.
So it would show you
So you're going to have to go into your event history.
Event
and that's
history,
where you're going
okay.
to see. Yeah.
and that's within the last 12 months. So you could change that. And does
Yes.
it show future classes?
Yes. It looks like that event. So like I can go look at, I can click on that And again, I'm not going to see all this if I'm just a member. But then if I click on the I, it's going to show me about the class, where it's at, if I paid anything. This is for, in a year, almost a year from now, I can go in and look at that as well.
Okay. And since meetings, we don't register typically for meetings, that event history is only, we could make it only show registered, right?
Yeah, it's only going to show, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How can we attach specific handouts to a event or a class?
So when you go into, I'm going to take you into the control panel. We are going to go into website and events. So again, it's called events, but that's your calendar. And so I'm just going to search just so I can get, you're going to have, and again, it doesn't have to be meetings. It can be whatever it is on there. Let me just look at that. Okay. When I'm setting this up initially, are you having attachments? So you can add attachments on, let's see, basic info. When you click that little, I think it's here. I can start asking questions, then contacts.
Well, we have handouts for the classes, and actually the handouts are associated with the courses. So if you have multiple sessions, a lot of times we might have 2 or 3 sessions for a class. Okay.
Right.
They would specify a course, and then the course would have the handouts. So you wouldn't have to add the handouts to every event.
You wouldn't, and you could also, I think, add it if you're sending them a confirmation.
Yeah,
as
but
well, or do y'all just put it into, how do you normally do that when someone, because they're not going to get the information until they register, right?
well, that's correct. But the courses already have all the handouts associated with them. So when they register for the account for the class, and it's for a certain course, then all that information is available to them. The specific information for the course.
So if I went to, I'm just looking, so if I go to this educations and I click here, I'm going to have.
Well, that only brings up the descriptions.
Okay. In the course.
You don't get handouts until it's a class.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I was looking for, okay.
I could show you in admin how it's done, and we could get it there.
Yeah, let's go through your questions, and then after that, can you show me?
Yeah, okay.
I can give you share rights, and then you can show me.
Yeah, okay.
Admin side.
How about, well, actually, if you go under, if you're not logged in yet, if you log in, I don't know who to log in as. Who do you want to log in as? Lee?
I don't have any classes signed up for right now. I'm trying to think who might have a class. We could go ahead and sign me up and then delete me later. Go ahead and put 007717. 1.
Oh, 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
you want to share your pass? I don't know.
Well,
I can just, you know what? Let me stop share, let you share, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So now you can share.
You're talking about Jared Clay, are you doing it?
Is Dennis sharing?
No.
Oh, I thought Dennis was going to share. David, you're sharing?
I'm gonna share.
I think Lee's trying to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry, got the wrong page up.
Plus, you can go faster than I can since y'all know that. So
I'm trying to get it started up again. Share. I've got 2 screens going.
there you go.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Dennis.
It's under education.
Oh, there's a whole, okay. I'm seeing a lot more.
Yeah, so you can go to course listings. Well, course listings is general, but if you go under education and your class schedule and handouts, is what we do. So what it does is it'll show,
I have no
she's
classes.
not
at the
scheduled
moment.
for anything, but it would show the class schedule and the handouts, and then you click on handouts and you could download them.
But they do not show up until registration, right?
Right, they
Correct.
don't show up until registration because they don't need them until they're registered.
Oh, yeah, I just making sure I understand that they're not showing until, okay, I'm just,
So I'll go ahead and register Larry's class. But it won't let me until I actually pay for it.
Well, yeah, we could
you
bypass that.
credit you.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and zero out your invoice and stuff.
Well, you probably, oh, you still have to pay, just, yeah.
Are you gonna zero it out first or now?
I'm trying. 007, what's your 77171?
Yes.
Search by CAN number. Okay, so 1211 0 close. Okay, so you should be registered now.
Okay. There it is, handouts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you click on that, it's just the, okay,
And then it shows just the handouts that you have for that course.
okay,
So
yeah,
again, and those handouts are predefined for the course. And so the student can go ahead and get them and you have them
Right.
available and things like that. So,
okay. I know, we do, so, and this is something I need to go and ask our customer supports, because we do have a module that is for education purposes where it does allow you to add on all of those handouts, and I just feel like it's gonna be more than what y'all really need. So I'm gonna go ask what they feel like best practices for that, because I just don't think y'all would need the education module, like I said, because it's really getting into getting points, and do you get a certification? And y'all don't need that as far as I know, right?
No.
You're
Right.
taking classes.
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
And then-
also, before you log out, I'm curious because one of your questions was about volunteering. Can I see how you do that?
Yeah, you can't see it on the website. It's on
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
but yeah, let's wait on that, Lee.
Okay.
That's a confusing subject, so.
Okay, no, that's fine. That is
Yes.
fine.
That's our admin, but
I mean, you could show her under volunteer credit, I guess, you're gonna have way on the bottom.
Yeah, I see it at the very bottom, yeah.
Yeah, that shows you the volunteer credit that you have specifically for her as an admin, and she gets involved in so much stuff that
Right, so
it's
for some
not,
reason it doesn't, you double click, just click once. And then go down or up or whatever.
There you
Yeah,
go.
now I
there it is.
remember.
Yeah, the page
Yeah.
is too small.
what does volunteer credits do?
I'll
What
let
do
Barb
you-
answer that.
Yeah, what do you, because I know that some of your questions, I was like, what is the credit? Is it to build up for?
There are awards and recognition activities
Oh, okay,
into the number of volunteer credits that any member gets through the year.
okay,
So we track them.
okay. And it's just based on the job itself and the time, or just?
Right, the time, whatever function, we have several functions, several ways that they can put in 2 hours and get a credit for that 2 hours that they have volunteered.
Is that automated? Or
Yes,
somebody manually? Okay,
It is automated.
okay,
this is the automation, depending on the role, whether they're a leader, an assistant, an attendance taker, or actually just volunteer. And each one of these roles gets a different position, a point value according to whether they are in attendance at that particular meeting.
And it's either an annual or a meeting credit. So if they go to a bunch of meetings, they get a bunch of credits. If they do
Okay.
something, they get an annual credit. So yeah.
okay. All right, no, that's fine. I just was curious because I know that was one of the questions about credits.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you won't be able to do it and we can get rid of it.
Yeah, I was like, it gets into the credit part, which I'm not sure about as far as, I mean, I know you can volunteer and you can sign up for different areas of volunteering, but as far as keeping track of credits.
Attendance, basically, it would tie
It's-
to attendance.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay. So, so the last question on classes, well, two more on classes. You could look at the closed and open invoices for classes, right?
Correct.
Okay, that should be pretty straightforward. And then, can you submit a class evaluation?
You can, so you can create, you would do it separate, you would actually attach it at the end of the class, I guess. You would create a survey.
Oh, you do it by survey.
Yes.
Okay. Just like Zoom, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Me,
you're gonna
maybe.
create, so, I mean. I get, oh, he didn't have any, sorry, he's setting this up. Let me see if there's a survey on here. So you're just creating surveys for people to go in and fill out. And it can be anonymous or it can be by their name.
It's usually, yeah, I think it's usually anonymous, I believe.
You can decide.
Yeah.
It just depends. Sometimes.
But it's a
people want
survey
it.
that you
Correct.
send out.
Right. So this would be like, class, or this says conference
Yeah.
survey.
Yeah, we
But this
don't send out a survey. What we do is we give them a week after the class is done. They could fill out the evaluation online and then it automatically gets sent in. And then the director can look at all those evaluations.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I understand you do it with a survey.
Right.
Okay. Okay, tech help. I don't think you could do it all. It's very specific to the computer club. And what it is it's a member can request some help. And every Tuesday, they have tech help, which is a sort of a meeting for a couple hours.
Okay.
And the program automatically checks them in. They could request before tech help, or they could request when they come in, and then they get checked in. They get assigned to a tech helper, and then it gets closed. And we keep track of all the things that we've been helping people with.
Okay.
So it's very, very specialized as far as how it works.
Do you want me to show her?
Well, you could show her the form, but the real key, the admin, is what's the complicated part.
I have the admin up now. Christy, if you allow me to share again.
Yes, absolutely.
There's, Christy, the form is just like a membership form, you
Right.
fill out stuff, but this is the way the check-in works is, you could register, you get checked in, you get assigned a teacher, a head tech helper, and then it sort of tells you what the issue is and
Oh, wow.
and what the details are. And if you go look at details, that's the form they filled out. So it has your CAM information, what devices, what your problem is. And we do it either at the club or Zoom. So,
Okay. Yeah,
You know.
that may end up being more of a custom thing on our end.
well, it was on our end too.
Oh, yeah, all of this is custom on your end, right?
Yeah, but that was very custom. So,
Okay.
I didn't see anything in the website when I went through it that would be equivalent to that.
No, that is something that I would have to submit, and then they would come back and decide, how much would it cost? So the things that make them decide if it's worth doing is how much is it going to cost? Is it something that other because how we work, and let me backtrack, is let's say it's $1,000 to build this. So they're like, okay, it's $1,000, it's going to take this many hours. We can build it for you. What happens at that point, once you've paid for it, it's done. They put it in your site. We actually can put it out there for people to actually buy an additional module. And they can pay $20 a month, $30, whatever the cost is how they figure it out. And if I'm another organization to say, hey, I want that, I'm going to pay $30 a month, we actually give you back a portion until you're paid back your $1,000. And then at that point, then you're done. I mean, we've paid you back. That is how we work whenever we do custom programming, is that's how they decide if it's worth doing. Is it something that somebody else is going to do that can pay you back and we get some too? But that's how they kind of decide on whether.
So the custom programming you did for other clubs, it is possible to use some of those custom features for a monthly fee.
Yes,
And then they would get credit,
correct.
based on that fee. And then at the end, when their dollars go down to zero, do they pay a monthly fee or do they just keep it free?
What, the person that paid for it?
Yeah,
Well, they've paid for it up front.
yeah.
And so
Okay.
it's theirs.
Yeah.
We just are paying them back until they get their money back.
Okay, all right. Okay,
So, and then this is like, I took, actually, while you were sharing, I took some screenshots too. So if I can, I would be able to submit to them if I could, and then they could just say, yes, we would do it. No, we won't do it.
Okay.
It's just up to them.
okay, all right. Okay, the next one is reserve equipment, and you do have a module that does all that.
Yes, we have a resource scheduler, and I
Right.
do know that the Glass Club, they use it as well. I did see that
Yeah.
they had purchased that. When
Yes.
you do is somebody on the Glass, is in the
Yes.
Glass Club?
I am.
Oh, okay. So do you use the resource scheduler?
Yes, it's very cumbersome and there are some issues I would love to change. When you scroll, you lose the top bars and the left bars kind of thing. So you can't see what time slot you're scheduling yourself for because it's gone kind of thing, but it
Really?
works. Yeah, really.
Because I haven't had that issue, which is,
I use it because I'm a member.
I
of the-
know, no, I'm not saying that it's not. It's interesting, and that's where I like to go into and see. There's a resource scheduler on here. I know it's on the other demo account, but it is cumbersome.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, it's good to know. Hey,
Lee, can you show that on, can you share your screen and show that?
I sure can.
all right, let me get out of mine. Oh, I'm not sharing. Never mind.
No, I'm just trying to find the right website.
Okay. What are they using it for? Is it just reserving space or?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, reserving space.
We would use it to reserve equipment.
right. We do a lot of wood turner groups.
So
They
this
use it for equipment as well.
This is the page you get in for reservations and you have to scroll forever and ever and ever. This is for monitors because they're on the same page, and this is the large multi-purpose room, but there's also a small multi-purpose room
Oh,
that you have to then go in. Once you get into the correct one, you can move around. But you come in
Oh.
here and the time slots, go, okay, well, I would like to be able to get at this. Oops, now what time is that? Oh,
Okay.
can't get there, so I gotta remember and put it in the right line.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've never
Same.
gone out that far, I think. That's probably why.
And then you go here and you go, now which table where is table WS 18? Ah, I gotta go back over here to see WS 18. Why can't they put this on the right page? Like
Oh,
ridiculous. So there you
yeah.
go. Those
I
are
see
my
what you're
comments.
saying. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
ours
It
isn't that
seems like they would
complicated.
be able to freeze that one bar. I would definitely tell them, are you on the board?
I am not on glass. I have enough time here.
Yeah, I know, right? I would tell someone there to just put into support, like, there's got to be a way to freeze that one side. At least that. I don't think that they're going to be able to like the picture of what you're reserving, but yeah.
Okay. Can a member can search for other members? We call it a roster,
It would be a directory.
a directory.
Yeah.
And a member in the profile can select if they want to be part of the directory or not.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
And so obviously there would be pictures in here, and you don't have to, it can just be a picture and they can hover over it. You can decide the layout of that.
Yeah.
You see it. And then, if I wanted to click on member bio, it looks a lot like a LinkedIn page. So you can do your own, the member themselves can put their picture and do their own background up
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
So
Okay. When your renewal, our renewal is on January 1st. Is your renewal anytime during the year?
it is.
Okay.
Let me go real quick on the control panel. When you go into renewal and expiration settings, are you talking about? You're talking about, 'cause I know you said you have a 6 month and a year.
Well, no, what we have now is our renewal is based on a calendar year.
Okay.
But if they register like in July,
Mhm.
since it's only half a year, they get charged a lower amount to go through the end of the year. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then if they register in December, it includes the next year. So it's like the 13th month. So we have some rules in renewal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this one, you can renew in January and everything would be set for January. You would have to set up another membership type if they did July.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. You can prorate. So here it says, do you want to enable proration? So yes.
Can
So
you
it
share
would-
your screen, please, Christy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. I'm not sharing. Sorry. I'm just showing y'all stuff that you can't see. There we go. That makes it so much better. So where I started was on the control panel. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Under people, there's a renewal and expiration setting. So when you're first setting this up, here I would put everyone renews on the same date. You can do a proration if you wanted now coming to December. I'm not sure how you would set that one up, so do you not allow anybody to come in March and they're going to
Oh,
pay
they
the
can
whole
come.
year?
Well,
Or-
what happens is January through June, they pay the full membership.
Okay.
July through November, they pay a reduced membership. And December, they pay the full membership, but get the next year.
Okay. That you would just set up that they can renew. They would be able to renew early, which would be December. But
Okay.
as far as then you're not going to do proration, you're going to have to set up different membership types. So you would do one for a full year. I have to think about that one on how you would set up the June through December.
Yeah, or we could just set renewal to be whenever they renew. And it would be the year from the date that they renewed, right?
Yes, and you can set up rolling renewals, so it's based on their anniversary date.
Yeah, okay.
And then this, of course, when you set it up, which a lot of people love this, is the fact that you can set up notices that automatically get sent out.
Right.
And you decide the days that you want to send it out on, and
Sure.
negative just means past their due date. And then you decide on what you do when they expire. So
Okay.
these are just things you would set up at the beginning and hopefully don't have to touch anymore.
Okay. And
There
then the
are
expiration, you could do a delay on expiration too, if you wanted to, rather than on the existing date.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I've done that in other clubs, but that gets confusing.
Yeah, I know a lot of people just say, hey, that's it.
Yeah, right.
It just,
Okay. All right. The last question is, and then we're done with the website stuff. We typically, if you look at our website and you log in, we can go between the member and the public website instantaneously. We don't have to log out. When we
No.
log out, we only get the public, but when we log in, we could get at both sites.
correct.
You would have to log out of the member to get back to the public.
Not necessarily, I guess you would log out completely if you just want to see what the public sees, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But as far as I'm seeing everything the public and members are seeing.
Oh, sometimes we have different things in public that are in members.
Correct. And that would be the same here. I'm just seeing both. But if I completely log out, then I'm only seeing what the public sees. So yeah, you're going to have to log out to just see just what the public sees. That's not a member.
So what you're saying is when you log in as a member, you see both the public and the member at the same time?
Yeah, you're just saying, hey, if it's public, that just means you don't have to remember. But if you're a member, you're also considered part of the public. But if it comes to events, you can have a member rate, you can have a public rate.
Yeah.
I think the question, Christy, is because some of our member modules, our drop downs are different. We show different things than what we show once they become a member, the public side. So I think we'd have to relook at some of that, Dennis.
Yeah, okay.
I do have
And you
another quick
still
question.
could do that. You still could create your own drop downs for public view.
Yep, and that's
Um,
what we've done, but then we're able to see it back and forth quickly without logging out.
So if we went back to the public, though, we'd have to log back in to get to the member, right?
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have a shortcut.
Yeah.
We have do have a question on the chat, so I wanted to throw it out.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah.
Is there a tech help? Is the tech help module a standalone to a degree was his question. He says, can Club Express import our code? This was Clay Stevens is asking.
I don't know that, Clay. Again, that is going to have to come from them.
Yeah, I don't think they
You can
can
write it
import our code.
down. I don't know. They could look at the code, but obviously depending on how it integrates with the site. Unless you're talking like an API kind of thing.
This is Clay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, been raising my hand for a while now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One of the questions I have is, you know, if tech help is a module, and if that module is indeed standalone to a degree, and I can't answer that, Dennis would have to, and I don't know what the, you know, obviously what the parameters are and what the, you know, what the code would have to be to import it, but it would seem to me that if we can't do it directly in Club Express, but we have a standalone unit that works, that we should at least investigate some type of a link or some type of an API scenario where we can still get into a module that works fairly well for us today.
Okay.
Well,
Anybody
Clay,
disagree?
yeah, no, Clay, I agree. You know, the Photo Club has a membership program now, and we have modules separately that can work in conjunction with the Photo Club. They have their own database. And if we have our own web server, we could have our own database. So we could have a tech help database and a tech help module that would get the membership information from Club Express, because the website interface allows me to get all the membership interface externally, right? I mean, it's the API you guys have.
Christy?
Oh, so you're at, I mean, I'm assuming, like I said, I don't know anything about like what they've done with the photo club, but if that's what they're doing, I'm assuming they could.
No, I'm saying that if we had a standalone app external, okay?
Yes.
And we wanted to get membership data from Club Express, we could
Oh,
use your website API to get all the membership data, and then use that in the tech help module.
yeah, you should be able to. I wouldn't see why
Yeah,
not.
so
It's your data,
that-
you own it. I mean,
Yeah, we could, that's something that can be done. They won't be able to import what we've done, but we could take the membership data back and run tech help separate if we wanted to.
I think we should keep that, you know, in mind at least going forward, because it does work fairly well today. And
Okay.
it would be a shame to lose that functionality.
right. No, I agree. I
Okay.
mean, that looks, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I do have one other question about payment. I've been asked, is AffiniPay available to be used through Club Express?
AffiniPay, I
As
have
opposed
never,
to
what is that?
PayPal.
I
As
mean, is
opposed
that
to
like a
PayPal.
PayPal or is that a,
Correct. It's like a PayPal.
so they're using,
We are using AffiniPay instead of PayPal.
okay, okay. As far as I know, you can use your own processor. I believe it has to go through authorized.net. Isn't that correct? I think that's correct.
Christy, who do you use?
We use Stripe.
Yeah, we could use Stripely. We don't, I would use whatever they're using
Okay.
instead of AffiniPay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you can use your own, but they said, you know, and I've been told it's because it's got to be able to go through authorized.net, but you can use your own processor as long as it, I guess, works. But ours is called LumaPay, but it goes to Stripe. Stripe's the ones that's batch depositing. Stripe is doing everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we would, if we used Club Express, we'd use their credit processing. We wouldn't.
Are the other clubs using, do you know if they're using Club Expresses?
I don't know.
Okay. There's so
Yeah.
many things that I can't see on my end, so sometimes I don't know until I ask. So.
Okay, so I guess I'm all set on public and member websites. I understand what can be done and what can't be done.
Okay.
Um, do you want to go through the admin stuff, Lee?
I think that's where the meat of our program is. I think we need to know how much is repeatable.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me get your document up on my screen here, just so I have it when we're going through it. Okay, and then you have, Christy, you have my write-up on the admin site, right?
I have, so on the admin website, I have Computer Club admin website.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
our control panel.
Yes, I had printed out the Computer Club. Oh, wait. Yeah, I've printed out several things. So yes, I do have that one.
Yeah, okay. So, and you've answered a lot of these questions, but we could sort of go through it. Lee, can you share it? And I could just sort of give you an overview and then ask some general questions. But just like you have categories, we have categories also, with different functions underneath them. You
Mhm.
just happen to have groups along the top, and then each of the groups have certain functions and stuff. So all these things, these are the functions we have. We have like a club admin, a board assistant, instructor, all those kind of things. Okay.
Mhm.
So those are all our functions, and then underneath it, you could select the detail for each of those. All right. The one question I have, Christy, is one of the things we do is the administrators can only see the administration tasks that are assigned to them. Is
Yes.
yours the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we went through that, you have the administrators and coordinators. So coordinators are ones that you just give them permissions to see only what they get to see. That's why you only have maybe 3 full administrators, maybe, but everybody else
Yeah.
would be a coordinator.
Okay, so basically that's done with the coordinators.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so basically that takes care of that. That's how we do it. I'm set on dues. We're not going to talk about volunteer credits. We talked about resident. We talked about documents. We've set up a separate help function where you could have help files for each of these categories, but you have help files built into each of your admin functions, right?
We do.
Okay, so I don't think we need to talk about that.
Yeah, just letting you know that, I know that, Dennis, you've gone through the demo site. Anything that you come across, especially on control panel, anytime there's a question mark over to the right, it immediately jumps to that help article that is.
Yeah,
particular
okay.
for that, so.
Okay. Okay. We have class assistants, and we have class instructors and class assistants, and they can see different things. Like a class assistant can see all the classes they're helping with, and a class instructor can see all the classes they're teaching. Okay.
Okay.
And they could change the roster, they could change the handouts. Those are controlled by those people. So if you look at the class instructor courses assistance handouts section there, and you're not teaching anything, so yeah, it doesn't show up, Lee, but that's okay. What happens is that coordinator then would be able to control those things.
Okay.
As long as we made those coordinators would have to be, how would we make sure they have control of the documents?
So when you go into, in ours, if you go into the control panel and you go into so you're not talking about like actual documents, right? You're talking about like just going in and controlling their class specifically, right?
No, these are documents for courses. So if you look at it,
Okay.
there's an instructor can define the courses that he teaches, can define the handouts for him, save them so that when the student comes up on the website, that's what he gets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, documents, you're just dedicating, like you would go in and you would give specific rights to whoever can add those documents.
So how would we give rights to someone? Yeah, see, right now, they only have rights to add documents to the courses they teach,
Right.
not to everything else. Would those all have to be done manually? Those rights?
Yeah, I'm thinking, because, we were talking about that one module for education, but I feel like it's more than y'all need. That right there, that module is what helps with that. I'm gonna have to find that one out if it's not on that education module. If
Is
that's,
the education
it may
module
not
on
even
your
be
website?
possible. I don't know.
Is the education module on your website to look at?
It is.
Okay. And how much does that cost? Because I'm sure it costs something.
It does cost something. I know, right? Let me go back. So we have, it's continuing ed. Well, we have an e-learning, and that's $12 a month, but these are basically for anything online. We do have a continuing ed and certification. That's why I said there's some things in there I think would be more than you need. And that's actually $40 a month. But that allows you to put any study material, anything like that on there.
Okay.
It's just that it goes beyond, it goes into certifications and quizzes. And that's why I was like, I think it's more than what you need.
Yeah, but if we need to be able to specifically add them, then this continuing education sounds like something we would need.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do offer Zoom classes. Is that your e-learning then?
Yeah, but I believe with the continuing ed, you can also do that too. Because the e-learning is just for that, and it's $12 a month, but it doesn't include a lot of the things the continuing ed does. So the continuing ed is going to be what you would use. You wouldn't need both.
Okay. Yeah, I think because we want the instructor and the assistants to have the ability to do these type of things,
Right.
and we set what's called instructor preferences, where we define, when an instructor wants to teach, excluded dates and stuff. And then we actually have a scheduling program that basically takes all the courses that are going to be taught and all the teachers that are teaching it, and you press a button, then it schedules everything.
I know that's what Lee and I we've gone back and forth on emails about that. And
Yeah, so
not.
yeah, no, you typically wouldn't have that.
I was curious, who programmed all of this for y'all?
I did.
You did? That's very impressive. I'm like, wow. Maybe you can work with Club Express.
Well, sure, for a fee.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course.
Okay. Class instructors, proposed class. And then if the instructors want to send emails to specific to a roster, they could do all that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They can, they can send that.
And they have to define the list. And can the list be a CSV file, or do they have to put them in by hand? Or does it automatically come from the roster?
It just comes from the roster.
Okay.
So you can, when you go to that event, if you have rights to that event, you can go in and just email whoever is registered for that class.
Okay. All right. As far as classes, we schedule 3 different classes. We schedule classroom classes, open use classes, which is another room, and then internet classes. And actually, there's a 4th, which is hybrid, where we combine the classroom and the internet.
Okay.
How would we just handle those as different types of events? Is that what we would do?
So all 3 different, I mean, yeah.
Because they have different rooms associated with them.
Yes. Well, are they at the same time?
Some of them can be, some of them can't. Obviously, the classroom and the internet can be at the same time. Actually, the classroom and the open use can be at the same time, but we don't do that. They have to be separate, I believe. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
you have to have all different.
only the online with the classroom, which we would call a hybrid, would be at the same time. Other than that, they all have to be different times.
Yeah, you would have to put events in for each one.
Okay, so those would be all the events. Okay. If we go down the education director, if we use this continuing educations, then we could set up courses with definitions and handouts and all that kind of stuff and all preset, and then just select those courses to be offered as a class.
Yes.
Okay. And then manage the class rosters, the invoices, the wait list, the evaluation.
Yeah, and yeah, all that feeds into the system. So yeah.
And would the continued education module have the ability to have instructor and assistant lists? People that are instructors and people that are assistants, or would those just be categories? Or
I know you can have the instructors, I would assume assistants, but I would have to check into that.
okay. Because usually we would use those lists to send the email. So if we want to send an email to all the instructors, what we do is save it to a CSV and then use the CSV to send an email. It doesn't
Correct.
automatically send it to all the instructors, but that's how we would do it.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have, at least in ours, you shouldn't have to do that through a CSV. It should you be
Yeah,
able to do it
should
through
do it
the system.
automatically.
Right.
Okay. You're much better than ours. Let's see. Password, website, education. Okay. Okay, as far as taking meeting attendance, each of the groups would take meeting attendance. This is how we would take it. We would select the group that's having the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bunch of groups. And then basically you'd put in the CAM number, and you'd have to select the meeting first. So, you'd select the meeting that's available for that group. And then when they select the CAN number, it basically shows that it's attending, what the status is. And then we also have a button to allow us to add guests.
Okay.
How would you do guests?
Are they so I guess my first question, are they pre-registering or they just walk in?
They walk in.
Okay. So walk in, you would have to go in manually and just when you take attendance. So two different ways. You register before the class, you just go and you just basically whoever's taking class, or maybe there's a volunteer, they take attendance for people that have registered. And that comes with the event. If they're walk-ins, then you're just going to have to manually enter them as registering. Guests are what we would call a non-member contact. They could already be in your system if they've already come as a guest before, and then you would just check them in. If they haven't, then you would put in their name and phone number and just put them in as a guest.
Do
Okay,
you have
but
to put in a name and phone number each time, or you can't just?
Not
come-
each time. If they've already been there and they're a guest again, then you just find their name, because they're going to be what we call our non-member contact list. It doesn't have all the specifics that a member's list is going to have, but it can have, you can collect their phone number, their name, or their CAM number, whatever you want to collect on them. But if they've already come as a guest and you've already entered them in the system, they're going to be in there. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense or not. They're just going to be what we call a non-member contact.
Yeah, these meetings typically don't have people that are registered. They all are just walk-ins.
Okay.
So how would we do walk-ins?
You're gonna, on the admin side, you would have to check them in for that event. Hold on.
We actually have three categories. We have people who are members of Grand that aren't members of the club. Those we call residents. And then we
Right.
have our members who are member of Grand and a member of the club.
Right.
And then
And
we have
guests.
some that are neither. They're not a member of Grand and they're not a member of our club. They're just visiting for the day.
Right.
Oh, so they can actually not be a part of the community?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For certain meetings, only for certain ones.
And
Oh, okay.
And Cam wants to know how many people we have that fit each of those categories.
Okay.
We're being asked to fill
See,
that in.
and when they put their resident number in, we call it a CAM number. Okay. It'll automatically tell us if they're a member or a resident. Because we have access to all the resident information, so
Right.
we know if they're a resident. If they're not a
Right.
resident, then they have to click it, put them in as a guest. And all we do is click it as a guest and call them a guest. We don't take any information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's not any pre-register, then you're just gonna have to, as an admin, you would have to go in and enter that they're there and be a check-in kind of deal. You're just gonna have to enter that they're there.
So I do know currently Glass has a manual clicker on the desk. They do not go through you guys to satisfy Cam's response. So it would have to be custom programming is from what I'm
Yeah.
understanding from that side.
So again, this was something that we had talked about when we were just talking to the Grand in general. Because with another, I wonder if it's Del Webb or another community, they have worked with pulling in, I think it's like every 24 hours or something, they're continually running like a database update.
That's what we do. We do that every night.
Yeah. And so anyway, that was the talk. Because y'all go through North Star, isn't that right? Isn't that what?
Right.
Yeah. So it never got that far as to determine the programming part, but there was talk at that point. But that's when the Grand was going to have one big site and then the clubs were going to be in it. So that's probably why, Glass Arts isn't doing it either at this point.
They got in before the North Star
Right.
being looked
Yeah.
at anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's a feather in the cap for somebody who figures this out, but
I
you
know.
it's a pain.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I understand how it works. That's the main thing. All that stuff, membership list, password. Okay, we show on the CAM participation report, it's under membership director. We have to generate a report for CAM that basically shows you
How many?
people for certain groups. Okay, usually, and we do it twice a year, so it'd be July through December, probably. But and we do it. It's done automatically, because we have access to all the data and everything. But it shows you like how many sessions in the open use rooms, what the participation is, the average participation, and how many guests there are. I don't know if the ad hoc reports would allow you to do this because you don't have the guest information. But if you didn't have guest information, it probably can be
It could be an ad hoc.
recorded like that. What's
Yeah.
that?
I said it probably could be an ad hoc.
Yeah.
Um,
The ad hoc
Yes.
the ad hoc has full access to the database, right?
Well, so our ad hoc, so we have before ad hoc report, we have reports, so we have like over 500 reports. But if you wanted a specific report specialized for you, we have someone that specializes in creating those reports. So you're just pushing a button, essentially, and that report just pops up. So it'd be like something like this, they would create for you and it would just pop up and you would click a button and it would be your own report.
What does that usually
Okay.
cost?
I believe it depends on how many. Let me look. Get to the right screen. I need an extra screen, I think. Oh, here we go. Let's see, ad hoc reporting. So it is an annual fee. It is $200 or $300 on an annual fee. But this one allows you to run and create your own reports. So you would be running it, but you also give specifics on the reports that you want. And Devin, who is our ad hoc report specialist, he creates those reports for you to be able to run.
So if we buy
The
them
higher priced option allows you to schedule reports to run automatically. You don't even have to push anything and be delivered by email or predefined set of users.
Yeah, I don't think we'd use are you familiar with Looker Studio or Data Studio or
I am not.
And basically it's a reporting function by Google that we allow read-only access to our database. And Lee, you could bring up one of the reports, like the group leader reports.
Staying within hours. I was gonna go up the show to
But
the.
does every club have to report that same report?
Yeah,
Okay.
but not every club does.
Right. No, and I guess it's just for their reporting because it's going to the Grand, right?
Yeah, so what we do, these are reports that we've made with Looker Studio, and they're just like ad hoc. You know, you could make the reports and show all kind of information. And what's nice is it can be done independent of the website, and then all we have is a web page that has access to them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and where's it pulling the numbers though from?
It's
It's
pulling
pulling-
it, what these are written in is Looker Studio, which would be the same as ad hoc.
Oh, okay, that's,
And
okay.
then it has access to our database, and we just make data sources for all the reports.
Okay, could you do the same, like if you did a Club Express, could you just pull it from that database then?
I don't think we could and use all our reports, but we'd have to have access to your database, which I don't necessarily think you allow us.
Oh, the back end, like, because
Yeah, we go right directly to the back end, but
that's
when
right.
you look
'Cause
at the
that's
ad
your-
hoc reporting, the ad hoc reporting does what we do here.
Okay,
It allows all this stuff, and we find that keeping the reporting using a report generator is much easier than writing the code by hand and making it in a page.
oh, absolutely. Well, I agree
Yeah,
with you on
so
that.
so
Absolutely.
I think we could do all this stuff in ad hoc reportingly,
Yeah,
Okay,
and it would be similar to what you know, what we have here. So each of the groups have their own sort of reporting
yeah.
they want. And so on the ad hoc reporting, can the reporting be separated by committees then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they'd be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
can go in, and it's something too, Dennis, if you want to play around when you go into the demo site, pretty much everything on the control panel on each section, people, website, money, everything else has reports in there.
Yeah,
And you know, you can see the reports that you can pull up, put in your criteria for certain ones and
Right,
decide if you
right.
want it CSV, Excel, you know, all that good
yeah,
stuff.
I saw you have all kinds of reports, and typically what happens is it's not the report that one of our admins want.
I know, I know. Hey,
That's,
I'm with you on that. I can't tell you, I've been in so many nonprofits and things, like it has like every report except for the one I actually really need.
yeah, probably.
I
But anyways, that's okay. We're fine.
Yeah.
Now, if we have the ability to do it, that's the main thing, is being able to do it. Okay. That's sort of membership. Now we're on monitoring. I think monitoring is your check-in desk. Can a
Yes.
monitor schedule their own sessions?
You can give them, we call it quick events. I mean, they could schedule a quick event on there where they would just, there's a button up on the calendar that allows them to, you know, an impromptu event if they wanted to.
Well, so a quick event is one that you don't have to register to?
No, I mean, you don't have to.
Okay, but
It's up to whoever sets the quick event's pretty quick. Like it is.
go, Lee, go to the schedule monitor sessions. It will show you how we do it.
Okay.
Basically, what we do is there's only 2 per day, and you basically can go through the weeks. Now, this is the monitor director can schedule anybody. Okay.
Mhm.
So they have the ability to select what monitor they want. The monitor by himself can do it, but see, in this particular week, there's an opening Tuesday afternoon, Thursday, and if you double click on it, it'll automatically schedule that Ron Adams and show that Ron Adams is there. And then if you click on it again, you get rid of them. So that's
But is that only for admins? So only admins can do it, or the monitor can do it?
Monitors can do it themselves.
Okay.
but the monitor is considered is a monitor? No, the monitors can do it themselves. Yes.
Can they, and I'm just curious, are they able to delete other people out of the?
No,
Okay.
that was on the director's side. If it just went in.
Oh,
No,
gotcha.
but when
the
they go to
monitor.
schedule it, they could see who's scheduled, though. They have the
Right.
ability to see who else is scheduled.
So
No,
I can schedule here, I put myself in, but I can only
Right.
take myself out. It's just because I was in the director's module before.
right, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine, yeah. Yeah, that is something, that was part of the question when Lee and I were, conversing, was that we cannot, it would just be that they would have to go in and schedule a quick event that would be put on the calendar.
Okay.
Now they'd be able to see if anybody else had a quick event on there, but, that's really the only way you're gonna be able to work around that.
Can you have a specific calendar that has certain times for the monitors? Because they don't want them every hour. They might want it from 9 to 12 and 12 to 4 or something like that.
I mean, you can have those spaces.
So if you look at the
But
way we
you're not
schedule
guaranteed.
sessions, the sessions, the class sessions are different than the monitor sessions that are different than the reserve sessions. So see how there's a session that starts at 9 and one at 12:30.
Right.
So I think this would be similar to your resources.
Yeah.
resource calendar. That's where I thought this
is-
would fit in.
So is a monitor someone who stays?
Yes, they stay,
Yes.
open your gym to allow someone to come use all of our equipment.
Yes. Yeah, I know like how you have it displayed. We don't do it like that. Because we have had a wood turner group that had wanted the same thing that we weren't able because they had the same thing. They had monitors. But they aren't able to open their shop if they don't have a monitor.
That's how we are.
Okay, so that's how you are. All right.
And
So they had to set up times in the calendar. Okay. Terry, I'm sorry, somebody just popped says Terry wants to in the waiting room.
Maybe he got popped out again, but go ahead. He was one. of
Okay,
them.
I'm just okay.
Yeah,
there we
he
go.
may have been.
So you would have to put it into the calendar.
Your resource module we use for glass, you are able to put yourself in and take yourself out again. So I'm thinking that's where it would have to be.
that's what I was gonna say, is I think they have that capability.
Yeah. I think somehow, but we would only limit that calendar to be seen by the monitors and the monitor director, not the entire membership.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Okay.
So if you can custom view of the calendar to certain people.
Yes. You can.
Okay, so that would be a category or a group,
Yep.
monitor group,
Monitors would be a group. Yeah.
a group,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
And then one of the things we do also, if you go to the menu, we could specify the schedule. If for the monitor director, you could specify the monitor sessions and also when the club is closed. So, oh no, that's the wrong one. Go back to,
So monitor director is over all the monitors, right?
yeah,
Correct.
Okay.
yeah, the monitor closed, club closed. So the club is closed Saturday afternoon. So
Okay.
you can never schedule there.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's
Closed
closed on
first.
Monday. So now if you go back to menu and you go to membership, monitor director, monitor schedule,
Manage
monitor, that one there, the monitor director can define when they're scheduled per week.
Yeah,
So
that's
again,
where
it's
your
just different
resource
ways of
scheduler.
setting it.
Yeah, that's where your resource scheduler would come in because then you can mark things that are unavailable. So it's not even. an
Right,
option.
it defines everything that's unavailable. That
Right.
isn't scheduled, that where it's closed or where someone else has it, so.
Right.
So you think that would be done by the
resource scheduler.
by the
It's
resource scheduler?
scheduler. Yeah.
And then we do display it on a monitor calendar, which is a Google Calendar, but you could display, would you be able to display the monitor with their telephone number on some sort of calendar?
If you're putting it on the resource scheduler, I don't think that it's going to pop up. I don't think it's something you can pull from the resource scheduler into the calendar.
Okay.
The only
That
thing
was-
that you could do is have a link probably on that to go to the resource scheduler, but you can't have it pull from the resource scheduler.
Yeah, I would have to pull from the resource scheduler.
This
Yeah.
is how class does monitors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Glass Arts is probably, especially for things that y'all are wanting to do as well, Glass Arts is going to be a really good example to use just because I had looked at them. I know they had been with Club Express for a while.
Yeah.
And I know they've done quite a bit as far as they've done some customization.
Mhm.
But I was referring
To me,
back to
this-
them several
Even this
times.
monitor schedule looks clumsy to me. Why are you even showing the rest of the dates? And, it seems to be just show the time slot to begin time like we do on ours.
Right, I know.
So it just seems clumsy.
There's some things that, they're trying to go through. First of all, let me just tell you on the roadmap right now, because Club Express was bought a year ago by Lumiverse, which is a larger company who owns SaaS companies. And so one of their first things was to go through and find, like, anytime there's small errors or whatever, they're just going to fix those. And then they are going by modules to update them. So some of these modules are on the roadmap. I don't know where Resource Scheduler is or if they're planning on that one, but I do know some modules they're cleaning up and trying to update.
Okay. All right. I was looking through the rest of the admin stuff, and I think we've gone through. I understand the roster. I understand tech help. I understand the technical director is really the reserved equipment, and volunteer credit we have. So I think that's about it for the admin, at least going through it and giving me an understanding of what we need. So what I'd like to do now is review all your modules and understand which modules you think we need and what we don't, and what extra ones we would need.
Okay. Do you want me to share my screen as we go through, or do you want me to just talk?
Please.
Okay.
No, if you could share your screen. You have the screen that shows all the modules. I've looked at it before.
I do.
Yeah.
So let me come back and share my screen. Are y'all seeing the Club Express
We
site?
are.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here, first of all, here is, it basically it gives you on the site a list of what our extra modules are and what the cost would be. Do you want to see it this way, or we have the document that shows this, like, a whole list of them. I mean, I can go through really quick. This is where I pulled the ad hoc reports here.
Right. I think the ad hoc reports we need.
Okay.
And if we just quickly go, what was the first one? Just to make sure I'm getting
The
it
first one was being compliant, the accessibility toolkit.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't want to be compliant.
Yeah, I know. And it basically looks like what I have at the bottom of my screen right now, if that's what you do.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you need the banner advertising.
No,
I don't
no,
think you need classified ads.
no,
I don't think you need the CRM.
no.
Dennis, the contact log, could you go back up to the one ahead of that, please?
Yes.
Would we need this so that we would know of our admins? We have 135, 140 admins. Who does what to the site? This is what we currently have, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think the contact log is a CRM system. We get all that stuff already, Lee. It's all part of it. This is an extra one to be able to track members and non-members, category, contact type. I mean, I don't
Okay,
think we need something like that, but
okay, good.
Yeah, and we don't have it. We actually have this sometimes with, we do a run my village, village to village, things like that, that they'll use this just to put in, information and task and everything.
Okay,
But the continuing ed and certification we had talked about,
right, that's
that one is
continuing.
$40 a month.
Right,
The e-learning, I was like, unless you're just doing strict, I mean, this is all just online classes.
right.
Expense reimbursement. I don't think you need that.
No,
Okay. Guest passes.
no.
I don't think you need this either. It sounds like that, if they come in, they're going to come once and then they're going to join. I mean, unless you allow your members to have guest passes. or
Well,
something like that.
actually, now that you say that, one of the other things we do is we keep track of how many times a resident comes into the club, because you have to be a resident to be part of the club. And if
Right.
they come in more than 3 times, they should join.
Okay.
So I think I think that's kept track of. I know we keep track of it in other clubs, but I think that's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think that this is, I mean, a lot more people that use this are going to be like the swim and tennis clubs and stuff like that when they,
Yeah,
bring somebody to go swimming or whatever, and they
Yeah.
give them a week pass or something. you know.
right.
Gift discount coupons, group directory.
Yeah.
You're already getting your membership directory.
Yeah,
No.
that's for members to join and leave. We're just setting them up to be able to get rights, administrators and stuff. So,
Right.
yeah.
Job boards, don't think you need that. Member
Yeah.
fleet, you don't need that. The mobile app, that's just something that is custom to your organization. So that's why there's a one-time setup fee.
Right. Yeah, I was looking at the demo. We'll look at that later. The first thing is to get the website done.
Right, right. Again, this is something I actually discussed with someone today in Australia. I think we have one organization that actually is using this, and it's really expensive because it's an API through someone else. Point of sale. There's a
Now we could sell things with not necessarily a point of sale, but we could sell things
yes,
through the website. The point of
yes,
sale just adds the equipment to do it automatically. Is that what that is?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, you can still sell things on the store.
Right.
You can have a page on a shop or something that, if you're selling, manuals or whatever it might be. Here's the points tracking. But this, I guess, a lot of times has been used for professional development. So
Can points tracking be associated with meetings?
that's what I was just thinking when I was looking at this, and I'm trying to will this have to do with your volunteer points?
Right.
That's where I saw it could go.
Yeah,
Points.
it's allowed. So it
Track.
can be request credit for events they attend or activities they perform. So yeah, you could.
It would still, I think, be some kind of custom program to tell them what to do with the points, because ours don't always do the same thing.
Right. I'm just writing it down. Okay. Resource scheduler, we had talked about. Yes, you would need that. And that's $20 a month. Task manager, no, that's just for if you need tasks done. So I don't think you need that. The membership cards, you're already using a membership card, right? Is it a physical card or is it on their phone?
Both.
Okay. That's why I'm wondering, because the cards that we have, I think this was something we were discussing too back in the spring, was that every club was going to want their own card. And if you're in different clubs, it just wasn't going to work out. But
It's all the same card now within CAM. We all have one number within Grand.
right. But Ruth was telling me, I don't know what it was, something about there was a CAM number, but there was another number.
There are actually 3 for every person that came here before 2021. But once we came over that hump and we've changed to everybody gets one lifetime number, they all have one lifetime number.
So everybody just has one now?
They have, the older people have them in their database, but
Oh,
they
okay.
only use one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we happen to look at either the real old one or the new one, which gives us some advantages, but there's an intermediate one that didn't work, but it's in our database. So
Okay. Okay. So these are all of our extra cost services that we have.
okay.
Now, we do have what they call design and other options, which I wish they put on one page, but so down here at the bottom, there's also, you can integrate with QuickBooks if you want. The SSL certificate that I was telling you about, to use your domain on the Club Express site to mask the Club Express, this is the SSL certificate that you have to purchase. And then the rest is just going to be having to do with your website. If you want custom design, do you need training, etc.
Yeah. Okay.
So on this page, really, it's going to be these 2 things are the only things that, I'd be worried about.
Now, will Club Express physically then store their files on our web server?
Yes.
Okay.
They're in the process. So a lot of them are on on AWS right now.
Uh-huh.
And some, I have to look up what the other ones are on, but they're in the process of moving everything over to AWS.
Oh, okay. So the database will be on AWS, but the with the web pages will be on the local, on our web server though, right? I mean, I guess I'm confused. at
Well,
how-
everything is on AWS. You're just, so all you're doing we host the site. So I'd say host, we host the site, but you're paying for the domain name. You're just paying for the name to basically mask. It's a vanity domain to mask. It would be Grand Club or Computer Club Club Express, and you're just covering that. We call it a vanity domain.
So why would we need a web server then? If all we're doing is buying the domain and you're doing it on AWS?
That's a good question.
That's what I thought, the way it was done. Because if we wanted to do our own forward emailing, we would have to do that on our web server because we can't get access to your AWS.
Right.
Yeah, see, with
Well,
the
that's where I
photos
said
we
you
had-
you would manually, you keep those, but then, you're using GoDaddy, you were talking about having board email addresses. So then when your board changes, you would manually have to go into GoDaddy and put, whatever email it's forwarding to.
Yeah, but the email address would then have to be the web server that we have on GoDaddy, which was going to be a different domain name than the web server that you have on AWS. They can't be the same name, I don't think, can they?
No, you're just, so again, I am not the technical person as far as that go. All I understand is that you're just paying for the name.
Right.
We
Yeah,
host everything,
we
you're
pay
just
for it
paying for that
anyways.
name.
Yeah, right.
Well, I
Okay.
thought there was something, Dennis, about tech help. If we wanted to do tech help, and we would have to do our own and pull down their data.
Right, and what we did in the photo club is like grandphotos.org, and then the GoDaddy website, because it was on a different web server, was like scg.godaddy.org or something. It was a different name, but
Right.
it's what handled the apps that were specific to that club. That wasn't done as part of the membership that they had. They had Wild Apricot at that time.
So I think they're using grandphoto.clubexpress.com. That's their website right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, if we did that, then we'd be able to
So
keep all the other stuff.
What is it?
Grandphoto.clubexpress.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the SSL certificate is just, you're basically able to use the domain that you're paying for. But
Yeah, okay. All right. So basically, Lee, we'd have two different domains. One for Club Express and one for any apps that we wanted to have locally or have in our own web server.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the admin is all programmed in modules, so it's easy to break out modules.
Okay.
Okay.
Express. So did we want to go through anything else on pricing?
No, I'm okay on pricing. I think Lee, you're okay too, aren't you?
Yeah, I did a rundown by our
Okay.
membership in January versus all the way to December, and it came at either Kathy's numbers or my numbers, the membership director. It's under $3 a person per day, per year,
Yeah.
like 280 or something like that. So we would just have to increase our membership dues by that amount to cover just the
The cost.
monthly hosting fees. That has nothing to do with these additional. That's what I need to work on now.
Okay.
And once the original developer's fee gets paid back to them for that amount of money, the developer doesn't get any more money. They don't pay a monthly fee, but the same person that did it still pays the monthly $20 a month, correct?
Correct.
So that's ongoing. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. All right, any questions, any more questions? And I
No.
appreciate our team that's just sitting there in the background hearing a bunch of this, because they're going to be helping us quite a bit, I'm sure.
Right.
Any of you guys, Barb, Terry, Pat, Sandy,
Wake
David.
up, wake up.
I know.
Their eyes are open, so I'm assuming they're working.
I'm here.
You're
It all
here.
Sounded good. Answered all my questions.
Okay. Well, and I know things come up afterwards as well. And, I've got some things that I'll probably get to find out tomorrow and talk to some other people about setting up and I can get back to y'all on some of the questions that y'all have had that I couldn't answer. But if there's anything else that comes up, you can send me a list or one at a time or however you want to do that.
Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Very much. Thank you, Dennis, also.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for I'm impressed with just the info I got before the meeting. I was like, y'all are on it.
And Lee. Lee did a lot.
No, that's
Yeah.
very impressive.
Thank you.
Well, we're a team. We're a good
That's good.
team. And so everybody does a piece of it. So I think that's the key to make any of this work, but it is a big job.
Yes.
Well, we'll get in touch with you, Christy, with any more
Okay.
questions, and appreciate your help. And for the team, website team, we'll be having a breakdown after this, after we come up with the last questions that Christy's going to work on, and we'll have a meeting here. So thanks, everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Well, y'all have
Okay,
a
thank
wonderful
you.
evening and we will talk soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye. Thank you. Bye.
Christy. Bye.